Obviously, the big stories in this election include the Liberals taking power and the Conservatives losing it. But one of the most stunning things on election night was just how badly the NDP did. I think we all knew in the last few days of the campaign that they would likely wind up in third place. I think even they knew that. But that usually meant in conversations with New Democrats, maybe 70 seats, maybe 80 seats. Instead, they wound up around 40 seats, which is roughly where they were in 2008, before their big surge in 2011. So how did they wind up there exactly? The NDP came into this campaign leading in most polls. But it was a thin lead. It was a lead that probably came largely because of the success they had in Alberta in the spring, and the effect on the national numbers there. They seemed to believe, though, that they really were in first place in a really solid way, and they ran a front-runners campaign.
The economy and get Canada moving.
The problem with that was that the Liberals ran a much more aggressive campaign in August. There was always a danger for whichever party between the Liberals and the NDP wound up in third place that the bottom would just fall out, as anti-conservative voters gravitated toward the other of those parties. What the NDP should have been doing probably in August would have been trying to make absolutely certain that the Liberals were stuck in third place and that it was that party that had the bottom falling out on it. But instead the NDP sat back a little bit. They ran a pretty safe campaign that month. Tom Mulcair started the campaign not taking any questions. He came out in the first debate trying to look very reassuring and calm. The policies he put forward, including particularly agreeing to keep balanced budgets as the Conservatives had done, were aimed more at reassurance than at signaling change. And at the same time, the Liberals were running all kinds of advertising that month, particularly on television, and the NDP was running next to nothing, trying to keep their powder dry for September. All of that combined, I think, to really move the perceptions of both Mr. Mulcair and Mr. Trudeau. And if you look at some of the numbers of how those leaders were viewed by Canadians, even before we saw the Liberals really surge ahead in the polls, you could see that Mr. Trudeau and Mr. Mulcair had basically flipped positions, and that now Mr. Trudeau was viewed more as a change agent than Mr. Mulcair was. By September, the Liberals were leading the NDP across most of the country. The one province that was propping the NDP up was Quebec. At that point, though, the NACAB debate did hurt the NDP there. And at the same time, a lot of Quebecers also began to see that the Liberals, rather than the NDP, might have a better chance of winning power. The NDP entered a vicious circle. Its numbers went down, people saw it as not having a chance to win, and then its numbers went down some more, until by election day they crashed altogether.